Welcome to the What is a Function video from MathCelebrity.com. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through what a function is, the parts of a function, how a function works, intercepts of a function, and the domain range of a function. And if you stick around until the end of the video, I'm going to show you a way to place your function homework problems in a search engine and get all these descriptions back within a split second. So with that said, let's get started. What is a function? A function is an expression that shows the relationship between an input and an output. Put simply, you put something in and you get something out. So there's three parts of a function. There's a function name, an input, and an output. So let's look at an example function. F of x equals 2x. We read this as f of x equals 2 times x or 2x. What's going on here using the three parts of a function in red is this. F is the function name. This could be g, this could be h, but standard notation usually uses f for function. The second part, the input, is the x here inside the parentheses. And the third part of the function is the output. So when you put something in for x, the input, you're going to get something out, the output, as you run it through the function. With that said, let's look at how the function works. With our example function f of x equals 2x, it shows us that the function f takes an input value of x, which can be a number, and it will output 2 times whatever you input for x. Let's look at some examples. If we input 0, so f of 0, we get an output of 2 times 0, which just equals 0. If we input 1, we get an output of 2 times 1, which is 2. And if we input 2, we get an output of 2 times 2 equals 4. Now, we take this function and the values, the inputs and the outputs, and we can write them as a relation of ordered pairs. For our sample function f of x equal 2x, we go through 5 inputs. I like to use a couple negative values, 0, and a couple positive values. So here are all our inputs, 5 examples, and obviously we can use more, but I use 5 just to demonstrate the point. And here's the output from the function. If we list the input-output as ordered pairs, we get this column here. So if a problem ever asks you to show relation of a function, it's nice to build this little chart here, your input, your output, and then your ordered pairs. So next, let's look at the intercepts of a function. The y-intercept of a function is found when you set x, which is the input, equal to 0. And the y-intercept shows is when the function crosses the y-axis on the graph. If we use our example f of x equal 2x, we find the y-intercept as follows. F of 0, because we're setting our input to 0, equals 2 times 0. F of 0 is 0. Therefore, the y-intercept of this function, f of x equal 2x, is 0. Now, we can also find the x-intercept of the function. The x-intercept of a function is found when you set f of x, which is the output, equal to 0. And this shows when the function crosses the x-axis. Using our example function f of x equals 2x, we find the x-intercept as follows. We set 2x equal to 0. If we divide each side of this function by 2 to isolate x, we get 2x over 2 equals 0 over 2. We cancel the 2's on the left side and we get x equals 0. Therefore, our x-intercept of our function f of x equal 2x is 0. Now, when you deal with functions, another property of functions is domain and range. You can think of the domain of a function as a set of all inputs or x values you could ever have. And the range of the function is a set of all outputs or f of x values you could ever have. Let's take a look at our sample function f of x equal 2x as an example. As you saw above, and let me scroll back up here, we tried 5 values, and the outputs were all integers. So if you extend this basically into infinity, you can input any real number into this function, and we denote real numbers by this capital R symbol here. And the outputs are also real numbers, both negative and positive. As you extend to positive infinity for the domain, the range goes to positive infinity. And the same thing is if you plug in negative numbers. With a domain of negative infinity, you'll also get a range of negative infinity. So if you ever have problems that ask for the domain and range of a function, domain is just what possible x values could you ever enter into the function, and range is what possible outputs will you ever get from the function. Now there's one thing I want to cover here. We've been using the notation f of x. There's an alternative way to write a function. You can use y instead of f of x. And just like above, we have the same input x and output 2 times x in our sample function, but we have no function name. So the variable y represents the output. And one last helpful tip, which I promised you at the beginning of the video. If you ever need help on functions, you can come to our site, and I'll paste this link in the video description, and you can type in your function in the search boxes, either here or here, and we will show you everything we just covered about that function. So let's take another function. Let's take 3x instead of 2x. We'll hit return, and as you can see, we walk through each and every property, the input, the output, the domain, the range, and the intercepts. So what's nice is that only took a split second, and it'll show you how to generate everything we just got on the What is a Function page. So I want to thank you for watching the What is a Function video, and I will see you in the next video.